I don't care how many times I watch that commercial, Stephanie. I love it.
It's really cool.
The music is like down, down, down. I'm excited to have you today. Here we are talking about our newest released book. It's called Get Shit Done. Well, Action Takers Who Get Shit Done is the full name of it. I'm pulling it up here on the screen here. Action Takers Who Get Shit Done. No more excuses. Before we dive into the interview, Stephanie, I'm curious, like, what made you decide to get in this book? Because the title turns some people off, So what made you
Yeah.
decide to get into this book?
Well, that was part of it actually, because it did put me off a little bit initially, and I thought, well, that right there is way bolder than I would typically speak, and so I thought, well, this is an opportunity to step outside your comfort zone, so go for it.
Oh, that's so brilliant. I love it. I had no idea. Thanks for sharing that. Because I know some people say, get stuff done, get shiz done, get it done, and they say it in different ways. And it's okay, no matter however you say it, it's all about getting that stuff done. And so what I love about this book, the whole concept of it really was, what are some takeaways the audience, when they're reading your chapter, what can they take away from it? And so the title of your chapter is The Story of Joan. And why don't you share with us, first of all, how did you come up with this chapter title? And what is the story of Joan? What is this all about?
So the chapter title actually just kind of came to me because I was trying to think of something a little bit unique, but also that kind of captured the story. And really what I did was capture the day in the life of a woman who has an incredibly busy life, but is in her back of her mind is thinking about, am I on a diet today? Can I eat this? Can I not eat that? What am I doing today? And so I tell a little bit of a story about her life in a day. And then we go into, well, how do we deal with that when in fact we're trying to lose weight or even just trying to have a healthy lifestyle? How do we do that in and amongst all the things that are going on in our lives on a daily basis?
And that's a big question right there, right? How do we, in and amongst our lives that are going on a daily basis? And weight is something that many Americans, maybe people all over the world, I don't really know much about the rest of the world, but people in America at least, this is an epidemic of massive proportions. And because in the old days, like the 40s, 50s, 30s, people typically were not overweight. That wasn't a thing that was very commonly talked about. Not like I lived in those days, but I've heard these stories. And nowadays, though, it's way more common than not, I'm thinking. So how do we deal with that, Stephanie? How do we deal with that?
So in this particular chapter, well, let me back up a little bit. So in my practice as a healthy weight loss behavior coach, we talk about all the different aspects of my client's life. So often we go into a diet program and, today we eat this way, tomorrow we eat this way, and they're diametrically opposed to each other. But in the meantime, in the middle, our life keeps happening. So the stress that we had yesterday, we still have today, even though we're magically going to enter into this new eating plan and we're going to lose 20 pounds in 2 days. And so life happens and we have to deal with it. And then that diet plan gets thrown out the window and we get derailed. So there are about 10 different aspects of each of our individual lives that directly impact how we function in the day-to-day. And so when we start to add in additional stress of trying to eat a certain way, then it's just like one more thing that's just added to to the list of all the things that we have to do and have to be perfect at and all those things. So we go through each of those areas in that individual's life and determine, okay, so let's say, for example, you're in a marriage where you have someone who doesn't support you in your weight loss efforts. Well, how do you deal with that? Well, we first of all have to recognize that we're in a relationship where we have someone who doesn't support us. Okay, so that's number one. We know we can't change that tomorrow. So how do we work within that framework? So the same thing here, and in this chapter, one of the areas that I address is mindset, because it's so important to everything else that's involved in our life. So, for example, if we decide that stress is a bad thing, then we're always going to be trying to get rid of it. But stress doesn't go away. It's always there. So our best bet is to then try to incorporate it, make it a part of our life, and find ways to be able to make it work for us and not against us.
This is big because you mentioned like awareness, you mentioned mindset, and a lot of there's different beliefs on this, but I believe everything starts in the body, and then my mind hears it, but then I get to control what I'm going to do with my body. So it's kind of like I sense what's going on in my body, and it comes to me consciously, and then I say, oh, I don't like what's going on in my body. Then I get to make a decision of what I want to do with it. And then you mentioned stress, and I love this because stress actually has a good purpose and it has a bad purpose, and it depends on how we see it. And so, and what I don't remember who it says, like, if you change the way you see the world will change, something along that lines. I think it was Rumi, or I think I quoted Rumi the other day, and it wasn't the Rumi quote. So I'm just gonna, like, every quote I say, well, I'd be like, I think that was Rumi.
And eventually you'll be right.
Yeah, exactly. But this stress, Stephanie, I mean, stress is all around. I mean, it's within us and it's outside of us. It's all over the place. So I'm curious, when you work with your clients, because I've done so many diet programs. I mean, name it, I probably did it, except the cabbage soup one, because I don't like cabbage soup. But if I liked it, I probably would have done it. And so, you name it, I've probably done it. And I'm curious, like, how do you work with your clients who have tried everything under the sun and they're just feeling at a loss? Like, I don't know what to do. How do you help them?
So the main goal initially is to do everything in small doses. So a lot of times when we decide that we want to lose weight, we're ready. I'm ready. I'm calling a coach, or I'm going into this program, and I'm going to do it. And I go to the grocery store, I buy all the food I'm supposed to have. And then I
throw away all the bad stuff, right? I throw away all the bad.
And then, and I'm going to work out 7 days a week and, all of those things. Well, I try to dial it back a little bit. How about we eliminate one thing, but replace it with something else? So let's say ice cream is your thing. So you eat a pint of ice cream every night. Oh, funny, I should pick that. Huh?
I'm guilty of the ice cream, but I don't eat a pint every night. Okay.
Well, that's kind of an extreme example, but there are people who do that, and it's okay. I mean, it's not, you're not a bad person if you do. So what we do then is we pick, maybe, let's say it's literally 7 nights. So we pick maybe 3 nights at that first week. If this is the thing that we're going to work on. We pick 3 nights, and maybe we replace that pint of Ben and Jerry's with lower calorie, lower fat ice cream that still tastes good to you. So it's still like, if chocolate is your thing, we want to do something, we want to replace it with something chocolatey, but that tastes chocolatey, not tastes diet chocolatey.
Right.
So So trying to find replacements that will work for you, that allow you to be able to make the changes without going from 0 to 60 from today to tomorrow. So we want to go, okay, let's say we're trying to get over here, but we want to go from here to here, maybe even here. And then kind of gradually, and maybe we never get over here, and that's okay, because there's a whole lot of stuff in between there that we can work on and develop, and then it becomes more a part of your regular life, and it's not something outside the norm that, again, you're trying to squeeze into your life and make it happen.
What I love about this is I am that personality that, when I make a decision, I'm going to go in full steam ahead. And it ends up leading to failure. It often happens that way. Eventually failure. And it's interesting. I read this book. I wish I could remember the name, but I cannot remember the name of it at all. But what it practiced was the first week, all you do is just modify your breakfast. Everything else stays the same. You modify only your breakfast. Then the next week you modify the breakfast. You keep with the breakfast, and then you modify the snack, right?
Yeah.
So you just keep, after 4 or 5 weeks, depending on if you have 2 snacks a day or whatever you're doing, after 4 or 5 weeks, you have modified your diet, but it really tapered you in. But still, even what you're saying there, that first week is really hard because, what if I change in my breakfast? So the breakfast is the meal I'm going to work on. Maybe I work on the breakfast for a month. And my breakfast, I'm going to go from eating whatever it is I have for breakfast to eating something different. Maybe my goal, so I'll share with you what I do, is I have the goal is to, instead of eating a chocolate bar for dessert, I'll eat some strawberries. Is it the same food? No. Is it the same taste? No. But I'm able to, in my mind, say, at least I'm doing something that's good for me instead of bad for me. We all have to figure out what works for us, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes it takes working with somebody like you that helps us to see outside, to know that there is something that needs to be changed. So, gosh, we're almost out of time. Are you kidding me? I cannot believe this. So what I wanted to share with you all today. So we are talking about the book called Action Takers Who Get Shit Done. Please go get your copy of the book at actiontakerspublishing.com/GSD/GSD. While you're over there, we have a lot of free gifts from our authors. And Stephanie, your gift, you wanted to share with them what that is. I'm going to put it up on the screen here. And you can either go cash it in here or go to our website and get it, but go to our website and get it, okay?
Yeah. I'm just thrilled to be able to offer a free 30 days of coaching. And basically it's, we meet 4 times in the month, 1 time a week for 30 minutes. And then we have calls throughout the week. I mean, I'm not on you all the time, but but just doing follow-ups and just making sure that things are working for you. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's an amazing free gift. That's a $250 value. So please, take advantage of that. When you do go to our website, actiontakerspublishing.com/GSD, you will see Stephanie's gift there. So if you didn't get the link from the screen here, you can go and cash in on it on our website. So make sure you head over there to get that. Stephanie, we got 1 minute left. What's the final word you want to give to our listeners today?
Understanding yourself in your weight loss and or healthy lifestyle journey is the most important key ingredient.
Understanding yourself. Go out there, learn to understand yourself. But first, hop on a call with Stephanie and connect with her. 30 days free coaching. That is absolutely incredible. Stephanie, thanks so much for being part of this book. I've known you for several years, and it's fun to do something like this together, and excited to see where we go together. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay, everybody, we'll see you soon for the next interview. It's going to be awesome. Check it out.